Hey guys, welcome back. So in this lecture, we're going to see how to use different locators or spy element using different locators and apply some of the action to do your writing or writing your test script. Okay, so in this lecture, we're going to see example ID, name, class name, tag name, link text, and partial link text. And then in our next lecture, we're going to see XPath and CSS selector. Because XPath and CSS selector are not direct locators. We have to create following some of the syntax. That's why I want to create a separate class. So let's go ahead with the ID. So in our this example, we're going to use our Codenbox automation lab.com/practice this URL. Okay, so let's go to and update our URL over here. And then here driver.title current. Okay, that's fine. We can just make a comment this one and get title. It's fine. And then we're going to write our code here. Okay, number one, what we're going to do, we're going to using ID locators, locator or attribute, you can say. Okay, let's put this one. So number one, it's using ID. So how to use the ID? So let's see where would be the ID would be. We can use, I believe, open window if I inspect. So to get the properties from any web object or element, all you have to right click and select inspect. So inspect, that way you can inspect or you can spy and get the relevant HTML code that belongs to this object, and including some of the attribute or locator you can find. Here you can see this is the HTML code that belongs to, that create this object. And then also, so it's a button, so you can say it started with the button tag, and here is a closing button tag. So between the opening and closing tag, all the HTML code are the properties of that object. So here is the some of the attribute ID. ID, you can say class. Okay, let me see if I can make it bigger. Okay. Okay, so here is the ID. So we're going to use this ID, and this is the value of the ID. Okay, just copy from here. Make sure you copy from here. Okay, right click, double click, and then Control C, copy from here and go back to our Eclipse. So we'll see driver dot. So we're saying here driver, and inside a driver WebDriver interface, so we have it. One method is called find element. You can say find element. Okay, find element, and then it means this method job to find an element. Find an element by what locator? You have to put up there inside by dot. You can see all other locators, all the locators we know: ID, link text, name, partial link text, tag name, XPath, everything is here. So all you have to just select. So right now we're going to use ID, and then up there you can see it's expected a string. For ID, expected a string. The value of the ID you have to put in a string. So remove this null and then puts in a double quote to make it a string, and here is the paste the value of the ID. So this is the address of that button. Okay, so what do you want to do after that? We want to click on that button. So you can put a dot, and then there is a method is called click. So if you just write CL, you can see method is click. So this method will click. The click method will apply where? It will apply in this address. In this address is nothing. It is a button. So it should click up there. Okay. So let's see if it's whether it's click. So I wanna make a comment up there so that we can see it's been clicked or not. Okay. Save it, right click, Java application. should maximize. Okay, and it's clicked, and that's why it's a open. You can say another tab is open, codenbox.com, which is the button over up here. So if you click on there, it opens that, right? So it's clicked, close there. So this is the use case of ID. You see, ID is the #1 preference to use any locator, because ID is the unique. That's the way the developer, they create this attribute. The ID is always unique. There is no way to chance to have the same value of a ID or with another object. So it's a first preference. As soon as you see this ID, always use the ID for your locator. That's the #1 choice. Okay, so next, number 2, I want to make a little bit separate those things. Number 2, it's using, we'll say using name. Okay, using name locator. So using name locator, so same thing. We'll say, hey driver, use the find element by what? Name. Okay, name attribute. So we're saying, hey driver, find the element by name. What would be that? And still it will be value will be for name, will be name attribute value would be string format. So let's see where you can find the name attribute. Okay, so name would be we're going to use name would be, say, how about here? I would say here. So you see there's a text field. There's a text field here. Enter your name. So let me spy this one. If we spy, so this is the HTML relevant code for this name field, for this text field. You can see it has a properties ID as well as name. So I'm going to use name in this tab. So let's use the name, and after that you're going to, this is the text field. So we want to enter something here, say Selenium. So we want to type something. Okay, so we'll see how to type also in a text field through this exercise. Okay, let's go. Sorry. So we'll say by name. So this is the value of the name, and then so this is the address. This is the address of this text field, and then you want to perform some of the action. What type of action? We want to enter something. We want to type something. To type something in Selenium, there is a method. It's called send keys. It's called you can say send keys. You can see send keys. So in a send keys, inside a send keys, you have to pass exactly what do you want to type. Okay, so I want to type, say, Selenium. It should type Selenium up there, and don't forget to put your semicolon, right? Save it. Let's put this one in a comment so that we can only see the perform of this line. Okay, right click, run it. Here we go. You see, it's a Selenium bin typed over here. Okay, so number 2 is done. Let's see, number 3. We're going to use, what are you going to use? We're going to use class name. Okay, class name. Using class name. Class name locator. Okay, or attribute. To do this, let's use the driver objective, use the driver object reference, and then use, say, find element. This is a very common. So who's going to do the job? Driver will find the elements. And what are you going to do? Is first it will find the element, and it will find the element by what attribute, what parameter you need to use. So here we're going to say by class name. You can say class name, and it also expect string value inside. Okay, class name. Okay, so let's see where we can find a class name. class name, I believe if you go to here, the same page, radio button. So let me spy on this, spy on there. That should, okay, spy on there. Here you can see this is a label, this is the HTML code, this is the HTML code, this is the HTML code for relevant radio button 1. Okay, so, or you can again right click, inspect, you will find exactly, you know, the related HTML code, this also, and this is the button, this is, it's the whole row, the radio 1 and the whole row, and this is the actual HTML code that select that button, radio button, you can see here. Okay, so you have to be very careful which HTML line you are going to use to locate or to find your locator. So here you can see value attribute, here you can see name attribute, there's a class attribute. Okay, here is a class name, class attribute. So let's copy the value of this class and then go back to here. So we're going to use this one, class name, and puts the value of the class name. So this is the locator of the radio 1 button, and then what do you want to do up there? You want to click, right? So click, it will be click or select the radio button, right? So let's perform these two together. Just, okay, run Java application. Maximize the window. Here you can see the radio 1 has been selected as well as the Selenium has been typed here. Okay, looks good. Okay, before we move to the next one more thing I want to explain here about the class. So you see the class attribute and use for the radio 1. If you check the radio 2, let's spy the radio 2. For the radio 2, you can also see this is the HTML code. Also, it has the same value of the class. It has a class attribute as well as the value is radio button. And for the radio 1, it was the same. And if you see even radio 3, you will see radio 3, radio 2, radio 3. Let's open this one. You can see class is equals to radio button. So all of the radio button have a attribute, common attribute, which is class, and also value is the same. So the problem is that, you know, if you need to select or, you know, the radio 2 or radio 3, and if you use this same class name, like radio button is the value, it will never select this radio 2 or radio 3, because how the WebDriver is working. So driver usually read or scan your page from the top left hand corner from here. Then it's started to scan each and every element and try to match the code or attribute that we pass. So when you use class name equals to radio button, it will always find this class name radio button with a radio 1, because radio 1 have the same class name and the value is radio button, and it will think that this is the button we're looking for, and it will click on that. It will never click on radio 2. And then how to solve it, we'll see in our another class, another tutorial, how you can select or the radio 2 or radio 3 when you have a common class name. Definitely you can use a different, if you have a different other property attribute you can use, but if you don't even have, still you can use. There is a way to do this. We'll learn on later on, but the reason why I explain over here, showed it here, because the class name, the class attribute and the value could be the same. It could have the same value of a class name in multiple elements. This is the important information you need to know. So that's why using class attribute is a least choice. If you don't have other option, then you can try, and when you're going to try, you have to make sure you don't have multiple elements with the same value of the class name. Okay, so this is a clear example. You can say all three radio button have the class attribute and the value is the same. So this is, you have to be careful when you are going to use a class name. Okay, class attribute. Okay, let's go back to our next. So number four, we're going to use using what's remaining. Remaining, it's we use name, ID, and then class. Oh, but link text. Okay, locator or attribute. So let's type driver dot find element by dot link text. We're going to say link text. Okay, link text, and it also expect string value. Okay, so what is the link text, or when we use link text? So link text is nothing when you have a text with a link. So example, here's a LinkedIn profile. It has a text and also it has a link. So when there is a link attached to a text, you can use link text. So example, LinkedIn profile. Let's spy this one, and here is the text. Here is the HTML code, right? And here in HTML code, you can see it has the text is this, and it has a link. You can see this is the link. It's my LinkedIn profile. Feel free to see browse, or you can connect with me in LinkedIn too. So let's copy. In that case, you can copy this text and go back to there and just put the text as a value in a string format. LinkedIn profile, and what kind of action you want to perform? Click. Okay, click. That's it. So let's let me run all of them. Save it before you run a Java application. Here you go. You can see this is open a LinkedIn profile in another tab. So because it's click on there, in LinkedIn. So that's a way it's open in another tab, and it went through our LinkedIn URL. Okay, so that's the use case of the link text. And how about the partial link text? Partial link text, it's the same use case pretty much. Okay, let me put in the number 5 using partial link text. Partial link text. Partial link text, it's use the same use case that when you have a link attached with a text, but your text is too long. Example, here is the example. I would say this is our recent post, right? So each and every post, this is the, you can say, header. So it's a big header. It's a lot of long text, and it is attached with a link. So example, if I just want to inspect that, this is, you can see that it is a long text, and it is attached with a link. So in that case, how you are going to confirm, verify, or test this link is working. To do this, we can use partial link text. So during the partial link text, you don't have to put the whole text. You can put the part of your text. So example, I will QA guide to handle, or defect leakage. Okay, or defect leakage. You can use any one of them. So let's use QA guide to handle. I will just copy this one, and then let's go back there, and I will say driver dot find element by dot partial link text. You will see partial link text, this one, and then puts the value up there in a string format. And again, same thing, we want to click on the link to ensure that link is working. Okay, let's put comment on the previous one so that we can see the output of the partial link text. Okay, let's right click, run it. Okay, you see, so it's clicked up there, and then close this one. So it's click up there, and this is the another page, QA guide to handle. So the full article or block, it takes to the full block through this link. So it's works. So if you click on there, it will take to up here. So it worked. Okay, so close there. So that's the way it's partial linked this Locator works. And the last one for this tutorial, number 6, we're going to use what's remaining. It's remaining tag name, using tag name. So before you use the tag name, we want to see one thing. So let me show you one thing. So whenever you have a link with the text, whenever you have a link attached with an element, well, you can see there is a common behavior. It starts with a tag name called a. You can see. So whenever you see a, this is the way it's developed. The application. So when there is a link, it starts with a tag name called a. Everywhere, everywhere you can find this one. Everywhere. Here is the link, and it starts with the tag name a. This is a very common behavior. This is a common best practice to develop HTML element with the a tag if that element attached with a link. So you might need to sometimes, your test case could be how many links you have in this page. How can you do this? That time your automation script will be very easy using a tag name a. So because all the links in this page we have start with the tag name a. So if we know the total number of tag name a, so we can tell you that that's the total number of links we have over here. Or in future in our upcoming lecture, we can see that's how many links we have in the footer, or how many links we have at the header. So you can easily count, and you can verify that those are the right or wrong, and then you can check, do some of them the test, like click on the links, so whether it's working or not. So in this exercise, we're going to see, we'll just find how many links we have in this whole page. Okay, to do this, we're going to use a tag name a. So we'll say driver dot find element by tag name. So tag name, what's the tag name? Tag name would be, and it will also expect string. You can say string tag name. So you're going to put the tag name a, right? A. So this will find all the links I have, in my page. Okay. So here is the one thing. If you notice that I put driver dot find element, which is not right, because let me show you another thing. Driver dot, if I type find element, you can see there is a two methods related to the find element. One is find element, another one is called find elements. So difference between this find elements method only can find one unique element, and find elements easily you can understand. If you want to find multiple elements using the same attribute, that time you can use find elements. So in our case, since you are using a tag name a, which will able to select multiple elements with a start with the tag name a, or with the attached with the link. So that time it will return, it's supposed to return multiple elements. So we have to use find elements, not element. Okay, we have to use elements method, and then by tag name. So this will find number of elements, and then what's the number? To get the total number, there is a method, it's called size method. So size is also another method that's in Selenium that give you the total number. Apply on the total number where number of elements you find, so it will find the total number. So, and if you want to see the total number, so this will find the total number of the elements. But if you want to see the output, or up here we have to type system.out.println, because you know that's in Java, to print something in your console, to see something on your console, you have to give a Java command system.out.println, right? Println. So this will print something on your console. What do you want to print? We want to print total number of the element that we find using a tag name A. So you can put this one inside here. So let's remove this guy and then make sure you close this. Okay, so again, this will print ln will print the value over here. What value? Value inside through this line, the total number of element using by the tag. Okay, so let's save it, and now let's I'll comment out this one so we can just see the total number here. Okay, run Java application, save it. Okay, so we had a radio button select one. It's still that execution is working. So close this one. We're supposed to see the total number. It's here. You can see 106. So you can manually count all the links, and you will see it will be matched with, you know, this our the value we can see up here. Okay, so that's the way. This is a very simple use case. You know how to use different locator, that all the 6 locator, and also how to spy element, you know, using those locator and different action on those locator to do your automate. This is the automation. This is the automation, guys. You know, so it's very simple. It's very easy. Literally, you don't have to make your own code that much. It's like, you know, it's with the already predefined method that it comes with the Selenium we're using and calling. All you have to know, you know, what method is doing what, and the use case of different locators, and how to uniquely, you know, identify those locator. That's it. Most of the times it's 80% code will be like that. Okay, so that's all for now. You know, we'll see in our next class the use case of XPath and CSS selector. Thank you.